Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Here's today's question. Sir, I'm very uncomfortable in using expressions, voice modulation, and body movements when I speak. I feel I'm not authentic and that others may perceive me to be artificial. Are these delivery skills really important for my presentations and communications? What do I do? There is this very beautiful scene in this movie called Three Idiots where there's a class going on and the teacher is teaching some very interesting definitions of machine and Amir Khan is smiling and his expressions doesn't look like he's sitting in a class. It looks as if he's sitting in a movie hall and the teacher says आपको बहुत हंसी आ रही है बहुत मजा आ रहा है and there's this interesting dialogue where the teacher actually tells him कि कहना क्या चाहते हो and he appreciates when somebody says something in a very textbookish manner with no expressions. But when Amir Khan tries to explain the same thing in a simple word with many expressions and a very good voice tone, the impact is not very high. This debate of style versus substance has been there for thousands of years. Style is the way we speak in front of people. This is where our face, our tone, our hands, and many more combinations of delivery techniques come in. Substance is our content, the entire logic and data that we put together, which is when we write our words. Now, according to some of the Puritans of knowledge, they believed, and Plato was one of them, he believed that present the message as it is. Don't flavor it with too much of masalas. Let the truth come out. Let people see the truth. But there are many people who didn't agree with Plato. I think his own disciple was one of them. And Aristotle and many more people said that, hey, truth alone is not going to convince people. And while Aristotle did not go that far, but there were many people who started saying that, hey, truth alone is not important. How you present the truth is very important. So they started teaching people the theatrics of communication. And I'm using the word theatrics in a very derogatory fashion. It's not like that. They started talking about that if you raise your voice, the impact is much higher. If you change your face and make it a little bit more grotesque and passionate, the people will understand more. And that's true. Scientific experiments do show that audience react more to what they see rather than what they hear. And this doesn't mean that we all should, pantomime and do all kinds of stuff. That's a different question which I'll come to. But I want you to remember that audiences react better to some expressions, some tonality changes, some use of hands and faces, because we are gifted with these techniques. And when we talk to our near and dear ones, we are very animated. The question is, should we be animated in front of our peers and corporate people and bosses? Because that's where you feel that you're artificial, you're being judged, you're not authentic. And sometimes you are given feedback in your schools and colleges and offices कि यार drama mat karo, come to the point, story mat sunao. And I think we have to take these messages in context. So let me give you some suggestions. Suggestion number one, there are people who respond more to style as compared to substance. There are people who respond more to substance than smart style. To me, this is like food. If I give you a dish which looks beautiful, there are amazing colors on the dish. But at the end of the day, the dish does not satisfy your hunger. You'll say, ki boss, khana kidhar hai? And that's a difference between a communication which is packaged very beautifully but doesn't have the content in it. Now let's take the exact opposite scenario that if I give you a food which is very filling, but it looks ugly and unappetizing and unhygienic, I don't think you'll enjoy that. So the content is there, but the style is not there. So my suggestion is please blend both. You need to have good style and good content and balance it depending on your audience. This is where your audience analysis is very important. Some people are not very conducive to too much of style. I mean, I know such people. Most of them are around us. Some of them could be in academia, some of them could be in CXO offices, some of them could be in financial institutions, some of them could be our peers in factories, some of them could be our own relatives in houses. Their face is very, very non-expressive, non-animated, and they do enjoy straight talk. Fine, we get it. But not everybody is like that. There are many people like me who enjoy an animated conversation because I get the energy and I get very animated too, that you can see from my videos. So my request to you is that you asked a question that are they important in presentations? And my answer is yes, but not in every presentation. There are some presentations where you need to focus more on the content. A little bit of animations can help. So try and do little by little so that you become more comfortable with the whole concept of animations, and a little bit of tonality, little bit of facial expression, little bit of hand movements. Many of us, because we come from such structured educational systems where we memorize, we don't realize that when we communicate, we have to express with our bodies and face, and people are looking at us. If I take brain scans of people who are listening to two people, one is very cut and dry, the second is very animated. The audience is listening to the very animated person will be a lot more engaging if the content remains the same. Now, all of us have to balance this, and my suggestion is that don't jump from extreme inaction to maximum action. I mean, when we have to go to a gym, we don't have to run to the weights and start pumping and get a six pack in one day. Take small steps. If you are very uncomfortable in changing your tonality and expressions and your hands, do very minor things. A simple smile is a starting point. A simple greeting with good energy can be a starting point. And somewhere in your sentence, you can write a sentence that there are three reasons and just do this and you're done. You don't have to become an extreme orator on day one. And you should not, because authenticity is very important. And if you are a very cut and dry person and suddenly you become very animated, your audiences will get very confused. So take small steps, but I want to encourage all of you that deep inside, all of us love to express. It is a natural form of our lives. Some of us are uncomfortable because of social judgment and many more conditioning exercises that we are made to go through by the corporate and by the systems. But that's a choice we have to make. In many government offices, you can't do the kind of oratory that I am doing. If I go there and if I have to talk to some people who are of a different style, my style will accommodate to their needs. So I do audience analysis. When I do my classes, I'm a lot more animated. When I'm talking to my investors, my style changes. So my suggestion is decide based on audiences, but all audiences, according to scientific research, do respond to a little bit of delivery techniques. And you have to align your authenticity with what the audience wants. Remember, your authenticity will never be questioned if you walk the talk. If your expressions and your tone is very natural like a human being, nobody's going to find that that's artificial because that's natural human behavior. And if you do too much, that might be challenging. If you don't do at all, I think the audience will not react to the way that you want. So apply these simple techniques, try small steps. Audiences do enjoy an engaging conversation and an engaging presentation. You will enjoy more if you add little bit of delivery techniques. And if you can't, it's all right. You don't have to feel bad that I have to become like someone else. Find your space. If you feel that you are a very cut and dry person and you will stay like that, there is no problem. There is a space for you in this world. All you have to do is acknowledge that you have to sacrifice the audience impact that happens because of these techniques. And once you are clear in your mind will be a lot more stabilized, you'll become more confident, and your communication will be a lot more engaging. Stay safe.